Okay, ready? All right, tell the voters a little bit about yourself.
I started working at the age of 10 for 30 cents an hour, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, hoeing cotton. I did that until the age of 20. I know what a hard work ethic is. My parents taught me that. One of the things that I have seen is that, you know, elected officials in Austin, like Rick Perry and David Dewhurst, don't work very hard for the people of Texas, at least not the people that I've been talking to. I've traveled all the state of Texas, and they're all telling me, we've been ignored, our voices haven't been heard, will you speak up for us? And I'm trying to do that, because it's the people who go to work every single day, many of them with minimum wage jobs, many of them that have to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. And so I'm running because we need a different voice in Austin. Not anybody who represents a special interest, the lobbyists who are there for the big money people in Texas. It's somebody that really knows what it is and has never forgotten what it was to be poor, and who knows that people are still at that level and we need to help them.
One of the most controversial issues statewide has been, and particularly since we're out of school, it's appropriate, is the issue with the textbooks. Would you address that?
Definitely. As far as I'm concerned, it is not only ludicrous, it is embarrassing, it's humiliating that our State Board of Education has literally tried to rewrite history, and literally rewriting history by taking us out. I'm talking about Latino leaders, Latino history makers who have now been written out of the history books because they haven't done anything for 10 to 15 years, like Henry Cisneros, or Dolores Huerta, who is an icon for women's rights and farm worker rights. She's been written out. Cesar Chavez no longer is a leader. So what are they saying to us? That we don't matter in Texas? That people who look like us don't matter in Texas? That makes me angry. It makes me ashamed that we have a State Board of Education who takes out a picture of a woman in a business suit with a briefcase because it's controversial. It might warp the minds of little girls in school that they might just someday be a doctor or a lawyer. Oh my God, what shame. It is ridiculous. And as Lieutenant Governor, believe me, I'm going to look to see if I can find money to buy books, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to be very careful about what books we do buy.
Fantastic. What's the single defining factor difference between you and your opponent?
My opponent has $4 million to run a campaign, and I don't. I have me. I have a heart at what I'm doing. I believe that people need to make a change in leadership in Austin. I believe that David Dewhurst certainly attends to the special interest in Texas. I don't think he remembers what it was to be poor, and he certainly hasn't been acting like it as Lieutenant Governor. They tell me that he is going around telling people, hey, I'm going to be good to you. I'm going to be good to you. Elect me. I'm going to be good to you if you elect me again. Well, what happened to the last 8 years when he wasn't paying attention? Now he's got an opponent, and all of a sudden he's going to be good to South Texas. He's going to be good to El Paso. Hello. You know, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid and elect a man that has not done anything for El Paso, has not done anything for South Texas, has not done anything for us. And it would be like going backwards, and I don't intend for Texas to go backwards.
The budget deficit, it's a big issue. It's going to be something they face in the next session. Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, Perry and Dewhurst are responsible for not plugging in some holes in the last legislative session, other than spending the $14 billion that was supposed to be spent for job creation, for communities to be able to do infrastructure needs. He spent those $14 billion because they were sent without conditions. It was supposed to help the economy, and they spent them for plugging in the deficit 2 years ago and kicking the can to 2010. So now we're faced with $21 billion deficit, and it's going to be hard. We're going to have to make some hard choices. We're going to have to tighten our belts, as they say. But as far as I'm concerned, one of the things that I don't want is for our education system to suffer. I don't want our children to suffer in what kind of education they get, but that they get the best. And we're going to have to really look at what we're going to cut. But I think it's also important to find out who isn't paying their fair share of taxes. We certainly are. Our people are certainly paying their fair share and more. So now we need to figure out a way. Small businesses literally are paying more because of a way that Rick Perry and David Dewhurst figured out how to tax small businesses up front for their profits. We have to figure out how big businesses can be paying their fair share, because they're not.
Multi-billion-dollar deficit is a hard thing for common people to kind of wrap their heads around. What's a good way to describe that?
Oh my God, I don't even know. All I know is that it would cut literally children out of our CHIPS program. It would chip into the senior citizens programs. It would chip into our communities like we wouldn't believe. And we have to be very careful where the cuts are. The last one, if it's my last dying breath as Lieutenant Governor, is no cuts in education. Our children need an education for economic purposes. They need to get that education. They need to graduate from high school. They need to find better jobs and better benefits for what little education they can get if it's only high school, but certainly for a college education, we need to stop this deregulation of tuition because our children are being priced out of that education. We have to do something, but education should be the last thing that we cut.
Thank you very much.